What happens when a superstar athlete's legal troubles collide with a global brand's reputation? Conor McGregor is back in the spotlight, facing serious allegations, and this time it's not just his future at stake. With Dana White's production team under fire, the UFC is in the hot seat like never before. So what exactly is going on? The allegations against McGregor stem from an incident dating back to 2018 involving claims of assault. The plaintiff, a woman, has taken her story to court, detailing what she says happened between her and McGregor. While McGregor maintains his innocence, saying the encounter was consensual, the lawsuit has drawn intense media attention and public reaction. This isn't the first time McGregor has had legal trouble, but each new case puts more pressure on him and raises more question about how the UFC handles these situations. One key element here is Dana White's response, or rather, his careful, restrained reaction. White, the outspoken UFC president, usually has something to say about everything, especially when it involves one of his top fighters. In the past, White's handled McGregor's incidents with a mix of disappointment and loyalty, balancing criticism with a willingness to let McGregor's bad boy image work for the UFC. White has a well-known history of treating cases differently, depending on how much revenue a fighter generates. And for all McGregor's missteps, he's still the biggest pay-per-view draw the UFC has ever seen, bringing in millions every time he fights. But White's nuanced, often lenient approach to McGregor's past transgressions has drawn criticism, with many arguing that he's too soft on stars who fill the UFC's pockets. Why does this matter now? Because McGregor's behavior outside the octagon has been problematic for years, and the UFC has often seemed reluctant to step in. Remember the bus attack incident in 2018? McGregor, aiming to send a message to rival Khabib Nurmagomedov, threw a metal dolly through the window of a bus carrying UFC fighters. The scene was chaotic, injuries were reported, and it led to criminal charges. And that's just one example. There was also the infamous pub altercation in 2019, when McGregor punched an elderly man over a disagreement about whiskey. Each incident has shaped his reputation, painting him as a fighter who doesn't know when to stop. The UFC's handling of each of these incidents has left many fans and fighters frustrated. While White has occasionally criticized McGregor publicly, the UFC's punishments, when there have been any, have generally been short-lived and financially insignificant for someone of McGregor's stature. This approach has led to a perception that UFC, particularly White, is more interested in profits than in enforcing a standard code of conduct for its athletes. After all, every time McGregor returns to fight, the pay-per-view buys soar and UFC's profits follow. But with each new scandal, the public outcry grows, and it's becoming harder for the UFC to brush these controversies under the rug. In fact, Dana White's production team is now facing backlash for his role in how the UFC stories are told. Recently, fans noticed a glaring omission in a UFC video showcasing the top 100 knockouts. No Francis Ngannou. Ngannou, a former heavyweight champion with an unforgettable knockout style, should have been a natural feature, but his recent exit from the UFC after disputes over pay and treatment have seemingly led to a cold shoulder from White's team. Many fans felt that the UFC deliberately downplayed Ngannou's contributions because of his decision to leave for another organization, sending a message that only fighters loyal to the UFC are worthy of recognition. This selective narrative building has led to accusations that the UFC is biased, giving more favorable coverage to stars like McGregor who remain loyal and profitable despite ongoing legal issues, while ignoring or downplaying those who leave or criticize the organization. This sort of selective storytelling can undermine the UFC's reputation, especially as fans increasingly call out the organization for perceived double standards. People want transparency, not just sensational stories, and it's becoming clear that fans are starting to demand more consistency from the UFC, both in how it deals with misconduct and how it honors fighters' achievements. Is this finally the moment when the UFC will take a firmer stand on fighter behavior? It's a real possibility given the widespread backlash. If McGregor were to lose the case, the financial penalties alone could be substantial, especially if sponsors and brand partners decide he's too risky to endorse. McGregor's personal brand, fueled by his whiskey company, Proper No. 12, could suffer if the public turns against him. And if fans become less enthusiastic about buying his fights, the UFC's profits will likely take a hit too. Right now, McGregor's status as a bad boy is still marketable, but public opinion is a fickle thing. If he crosses a certain line, even his loyal fan base might start to turn away. Financially, McGregor's presence in the UFC is crucial. His fights don't just attract the typical MMA fans, they bring in casual viewers who might not watch any other UFC event. This broader audience means huge pay-per-view buys, merchandise sales, and social media buzz. But relying so heavily on one fighter, especially one with a history of legal issues, is a risky business strategy. If the UFC continues to prioritize profits over principles, it could end up driving away its core fans, those who genuinely love the sport and expect its leaders to enforce some form of discipline. In the long run, this case could prompt a shift in the UFC's approach to fighter conduct. Right now, Dana White has largely managed fighter discipline on a case-by-case basis, often influenced by a fighter's profitability. But as the backlash grows, the UFC might be forced to adopt stricter, more consistent rules around fighter behavior, aligning it more closely with other professional sports organizations that have started taking a harder stance on athlete conduct. If the UFC can demonstrate that it's serious about enforcing standards, it can help repair its image with fans who want to see fairness and accountability across the board. What does the media think of all this? Well, mainstream media coverage of McGregor's case has been mixed, with some outlets focusing on his accomplishments and philanthropy, while others highlight his troubling history. This variation in coverage shapes public opinion, making it difficult to get a clear read on how people feel about McGregor. For some, he's still a hero, a rags-to-riches story of an underdog who made it big. For others, he's a cautionary tale about the dangers of fame and unchecked power. The way the media presents this story will likely impact how fans perceive not just McGregor, but also the UFC's approach to handling its stars' behavior. Adding to the complex web of consequences for Conor McGregor and the UFC, the way fans react to this case could prove to be decisive. If McGregor's loyal fanbase begins to feel uneasy about his actions outside the octagon, it may cause a shift in viewership trends. This could lead the UFC to consider a new promotional strategy that focuses less on one star and more on a broader roster of fighters. Moreover, if sponsors sense a shift in public opinion and pull back on high-profile endorsements, it would challenge the UFC and McGregor to maintain their lucrative partnership. This isn't just about McGregor's individual reputation, it's also a reflection of the UFC's evolving identity as a global sports brand. Will they continue to emphasize big personalities and occasional controversy, or will this case mark a shift towards more professionalism and accountability? As the UFC competes with other sports organizations that increasingly prioritize athlete conduct, this case could inspire long overdue policy changes. In the end, both McGregor and the UFC stand at a crossroads, with their decision now setting a precedent that could shape the sport's reputation and values it promotes to future fighters and fans alike. The resolution of this case could set the tone for UFC's future. If McGregor is found not guilty, he may even emerge even more popular, with his fans rallying behind him as if he were an underdog once again. But if the court rules against him, the fallout could be profound. Beyond the financial implications, a guilty verdict could tarnish his legacy, potentially limiting his options both inside and outside the octagon. And for the UFC, this case could be a turning point, forcing Dana White and his team to rethink how they manage and discipline their fighters. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss on any of our latest updates. And do let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. We'll see you guys next time.